everyone. This is Tamara from shelfaddiction.com, and welcome to episode 78. We're here live today reviewing and recapping the latest episode of The Walking Dead, season 7, episode 13, broadcasting live from shelfaddiction.com/podcast. Whether you're listening live via Shelf Addiction or listening live via Spreaker, leave a comment. We would love to hear your thoughts on last night's episode, or in this case, it's Sunday's episode, because we're a day late. Regardless, if you enjoyed live episodes, go ahead and share on Twitter right now. Show your support by rating the podcast and leaving a positive review on iTunes. The podcast can be found on the Spreaker app, iTunes, Google Play Music, the Stitcher app, and more. Joining me is PCS co-host, fellow TV junkie, and indie author Lisa Orban. Want to comment on something you've heard during today's episode? Leave a comment right now, or you can find me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. You can also find Lisa on Twitter at Lisa Orban Author. If you'd like to email in feedback or questions, feel free to reach out to me at info@shelfaddiction.com. Hey Lisa, what's going on?
I'm enjoying the sunshine down in Florida.
Yay! Sounds like you're having a great time, which is awesome.
Better than you. I'm doing so much. You guys up north.
Much better than me. We're going to tell you guys, why we're technically a day late on this live broadcast. So today's Tuesday, not Monday. We're usually live on Monday, the day after The Walking Dead. But we're Tuesday because yesterday I came home I had power back. You know, there was a storm last week, so I lost power. I had a tree down. What else? Shingles off my roof, water heater out. And to follow that all up, I came home to find no internet, no Xfinity. So here we are.
Yeah, you see, and I'm down in Florida, and I'm away from my computer and everything else, so I couldn't even, go, oh, hey, you can call into me, and we can do it from my side.
I know. So we were kind of screwed. And so now here we are, not in our usual setting, so I apologize in advance if you hear me ask Lisa, what did you say? Or, I can't hear you, I apologize.
Hey, I'm doing the best I can. I'm just letting you guys know I locked myself in a shed so that there wouldn't be any other people around talking to me or hear TVs or dogs or wind or birds or anything else. So, this is how much I'm dedicated to you all. I'm sitting in a shed so I can do this podcast.
That's dedication. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't desire to sit in a shed. I'm just saying.
It was my best option.
Yes. We appreciate you, Lisa. Yes.
Thank you.
We are here to talk about this show that we love so much, and it was the latest episode from Sunday, episode 13, entitled Bury Me Here, which was a pretty appropriate title, being what was going on in this episode.
Oh, you think? Oh,
yeah.
I was just... this episode was so intense. It just really was. And I honestly, I thought it was actually going to go way more south than it did, so I'm grateful it didn't. Mm-hmm. Because he's trying to set up Daryl and trying to set up Carol, but that one poor kid got killed anyway. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I can't remember if you predicted this as well, but I remember we had a conversation where I said, man, that kid's going to die. He's going to die.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. You knew, you just knew it. And now I didn't want to see this kid die because, he was such a sweet kid. Really was going to die. And, unlike Carl, who by that age was pretty jaded and hard.
Yeah.
The push he really needed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And because it was, you could see that the arrangement that they had has been getting more tense and more brittle, and it was going to head this way one way or another. Eventually, if they had kept the deal that they had, even without interference, like taking the cantaloupe back of the truck and setting up the shopping carts, eventually it would have reached at least the level of Hilltop.
Right.
Right. And you just needed an excuse. Mm-hmm. And I also get the impression, though, that I don't think Negan really knows about the kingdom. Not really.
So, like, he knows, but he doesn't know how many they are or how strong they can be,
Right.
type of thing?
Exactly, because I think that I can't remember the guy's. He's the leader. He's the guy that comes in and meets up with King Ezekiel. He's made it very clear. They were talking. This is a deal that we, as in the two of them, made for our convenience. But if you change things, I'm going to have to go back to Negan, and we're going to have to change things around.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting the impression that while Negan is aware that there is an area called the Kingdom, I think they're probably thinking like something more along the lines of Hilltop, just a little tiny farming community of maybe people
out
in the middle of the Hicks.
Or he's just that cocky that he just doesn't really think that anyone would dare stand against him.
Right. So it's kind of hard to say, but we all know that. I mean, greedy as the saviors are, the tension's been building for a while now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Carol knew that Daryl was lying to her.
Uh-huh.
She knew it. But she didn't want to know, but then she couldn't stand not knowing. That's, the sleepless night and, waking up crying, and she knew something was terribly wrong.
And you know what? Morgan did a good job holding out on telling her, but after that after that kid died, he was just so done. And then, he killed old boy. He just was like, I don't care. It's all coming out. It's coming out, and then I'm going to leave here and go on a killing spree.
And he is, that's the mission right now for Morgan. He knows at this point that as much as he has tried to stay the middle ground, to always use deadly force is the very last option. He also realizes this is it. I can't anymore. Not keep and preserve the things that I love.
Yeah.
And,
that almost surprised me. I mean, I knew that he would tell on the guy who, set them up. I knew that he would confront, tell King Ezekiel in the group what he had done. But it sort of shocked me. He's such a pacifist that it shocked me when he started pounding the crap out of that guy. I'm like, oh my God. And it looked like even the saviors were a little bit shocked. They were
horrified.
Yeah, they were. Like, oh my gosh.
Well, and I think there was a point to be made there. I think Morgan was also trying to buy them some time.
Yeah.
Because if the saviors know to what lengths that they will go to, the kingdom will go to, that Morgan will go to keep things status quo, so to speak, cause the saviors to have a pause and go, we don't,
right.
Want to be quite so pushy as we have been.
Right.
And honestly, and the leader of the saviors, the kid had died, was just...
Hello? Are you there, Lisa?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you fade out for a second. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. So, I guess I was thinking, how Richard had explained his reasoning to Morgan for why he wanted to set that up, why he thought, and then so they would do that, and then they would earn the trust back. So it's almost like Morgan just said, fine, I'll earn the trust back with you. So I'll use you in your own plan to do what needs to be done. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, you will be the sacrificial lamb.
Yep.
I'm going to grant your so to speak. And like I said, yeah, I mean, in this was really upset that the kid had died. He wanted, Richard to die. And I think that had been their plan. That he was the one that was going to get shot. He was going to be because of all the tension and stuff going on.
Yeah.
And he looked at that's it. You don't, not another word. You just turn around and start walking back. Walk back to camp.
Yeah.
Just get out of my face. So he really, he's not he's not a great guy, obviously. He belongs to the Saviors. He's moved his way up to a position of importance. We've seen him be, a terrible person to other people, but at the same time, he's not anywhere near as Negan's level of, terribleness.
Yeah, and he's not stupid. I mean, he just he also knows that could go really, really bad really fast. So I think he was trying to just say, hey, I don't think that's okay what he did. Let's just get back to business. He tried to, I guess, avert or divert disaster before it happened. Yeah. I think that's what he was trying to do.
And Morgan even cut him off from the apology because Morgan didn't want that apology.
Right.
He wanted, he wants both sides to kind of stay where they are and at a stalemate.
Yeah.
So, and, everyone's shocked, amazed, and, horrified with the entire situation. That's where he wants it because people are more off balance that way, and they won't be expecting him.
Mm-hmm. Well, they really changed some stuff. Like, I don't read the comic books, but I have heard a lot of other people talk about this who have read the comic books. And I guess in the comic books, King Ezekiel doesn't need much convincing. Like, he's the one, he knows they have to fight. He's just waiting for the time. So he didn't need the stimulus in the comics. So they're definitely deviating and I guess taking a longer time to get to the final destination of this all-out war.
Well, in earlier episodes, when he was talking to Carol, I mean, he did kind of acknowledge, I know things can't stay this way. Mm-hmm. I just want them to stay this way as long as it is possible. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think part of this is he knows that the longer that they can go without confrontation, the longer they can go without losing, people like Rick has done, the stronger they will get. The more secure they'll get, the more people they'll have, and, they'll have a better chance of winning.
Right. Right. I could see that. I can. But, one thing I did like about how they tied in, like, Morgan kind of, like, losing his mind a little bit. The fact that they tied in his son. Like, he rarely talks about his son. Yeah. And I'm not sure I would have bought that, total collapse if it hadn't been brought back around, about his child. Because unfortunately, with us being in so many camps, we really didn't get to know that character, that kid, very well at all.
Right.
So,
but you could see him, I mean, because he would have been around the age of Morgan's son if he had survived.
Right. Right.
And because I don't know if our viewers remember or not, but when Rick ran into Morgan again, for the second time, right after he leaves Atlanta or heads off to Atlanta. After that, when his son had still been alive, he had gotten himself barricaded inside this. He had a building, and there was traps, and he had these signs everywhere, and he was quite insane.
Yes, he was
at that point. And so and I think that was when he flashed back to that, bury me here, and then you started this. They brought back images from what he had written on his on walls and stuff there, at his previous encampment. Don't forget, and various other little messages, and he was doing that everywhere.
Right.
Leaving these messages and really quite not with it.
Right.
Up until the point where he was taken captive by the guy that taught him how to use the staff.
Mm-hmm.
And
now, that's what's kind of weird about it to me. Like, okay, so we know his history. If we all remember, we know how his son died, right? His inaction pretty much led to his son's death. So when Richard was giving his speech and talking about his daughter and not doing anything and, how bad he felt, I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit surprised that didn't evoke a different feeling in him other than what we got. I mean, because he was in a similar situation as Richard, as far as not doing anything and something horrible happened to people he loved, and now we're in the situation where we can do something or we can not do something, and he didn't react. I think the way he should have. Not maybe should have is maybe the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
Right. I think part of it I mean, when Morgan's reaction after the death of his son, that was a break with reality. He had an emotional break, and he was done. He was no longer functioning in the rational world. Mm-hmm. The difference is while Richard had lost his daughter, he was looking at this in a much different way than when Morgan was crazy. He was looking at this, setting someone up, having some, the intent was for Richard to die, but the intent was someone was going to die, mm-hmm. to kick the kingdom into action, Right. And I think if he had shown more remorse for what had happened, I don't think Morgan would have been as devastated by it. Mm-hmm. But him basically saying, "Hey, someone had to die, and I'm kind of sorry about it, but sacrifices have to be made." And I think that was it right there. Is when he was very cavalier about the death of that child, right. And I think that's what broke Morgan, and he went, "Oh no, this cannot stand. Right. This is not going to be."
I know. So how long do you think before Morgan is pulled back into the fight in a meaningful way? I mean, obviously he's out there where Carol was. She kind of talked him into staying, but, going but not going, mm-hmm. right? So
yeah, she traded places with him. She gave him her
exactly.
house.
Yep. She changed places with him. So, mm-hmm. With us only having, 4 episodes left this season, I do wonder.
Something like that.
Yeah, I wonder, will we pull Morgan back in, or will he just be, batshit crazy for the next 4 episodes trying to kill walkers? I mean, I wonder what his role in this is going to be. I don't think he's going to kill walkers.
I think what he's going to do is he is going to go out and, because they're kind of starting to track where the saviors are. They have a general idea of where they are. Mm-hmm. I think his plan is to go out on his own and start killing saviors. Mm-hmm. And just picking them off bit by bit, and not using guns. He's going to use his staff, and it'll be very hard for the saviors to track down an individual, and figure out. And as long as he stays away from the major settlements, he could go on killing them for a while without Negan being able to even figure out where this is coming from. It's just going to be groups not coming back. Yeah,
And we should mention a staff, by the way, which he had sharpened into a spear at one end.
Yes.
So, yeah. That's going to be interesting.
He's not messing around anymore. He's not, this is no longer non-lethal. This is, either side, I don't care, but you're going to die.
I mean, it went complete opposite from don't harm a hair on someone's head to I'm about to murder everyone. Everyone mm-hmm. is going to die.
Well,
wow.
And when that kid, right before he died, he looked up at Morgan and he says, "I understand the book now."
Yep.
When you kill someone else, you kill a part of yourself, mm-hmm. and it just, I mean, Morgan has pushed and pushed and pushed for non-lethal and understanding and compassion and looking for that other way. And at that moment, I think he went, if I had chosen a different way, this kid would have lived. Mm-hmm. And he didn't. Through his own inaction, once again, child died. Mm-hmm. His son died because of his inaction. Other children other people had died because of his inaction. And I think that was it. That was his final, barrier between killing and not killing. And I don't think he'll actually go back to the feral human that he was after the death of his own son. Mm-hmm. But I think he's no longer going to be the conscientious objector anymore.
Right. Well, one thing that I was kind of disappointed about is the fact that we didn't really get to see King Ezekiel's reaction to all of that. Like, we saw a little mm-hmm. bit. We didn't get to see his decision to fight. We kind of saw after, right? When in this calm moment when he's planting. I mean, I would have mm-hmm. liked to see him really get upset and invested in the cause. I would have liked to see the switch turned on in him as well.
But that may not have happened even in private. He may have he may have mourned and, sadly made the decision to go to war. There may not have been that flip switch. It could have just been the resignation that this is going to have to be.
I guess. I mean, I just feel like I expected a little bit more from a guy with a tiger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just, I think you know what I mean. It's just kind of like...
I do.
I
mean, he is playing a part, and it's a very Shakespearean part, honestly. Mm-hmm. But as a human being, his true self, I mean, he's stumbling along doing the best he can, and he's basically a pacifist at heart. But he knows that, things are going to have to change, and he knows he has the power to make them change, and he's sad about it. And so right now he's like, I know that this is going to have to be, but it doesn't have to be today. That can be tomorrow. For today, he was dealing with his grief and his loss, and even the replanting of the garden is kind of saying, okay, just because there's an ending of an old doesn't mean we can't build anew.
Well, that ties into that ties in with what the gardener lady was telling him at the beginning. Mm-hmm. She's like, hey, we've got to burn this down, but the good thing is we can replant it. It can be redone, so we can start again.
That's some foreshadowing going on right there.
Yeah.
We know something bad right now is going to happen because she said that.
Right. It was pretty funny how she was scared of the tiger, though. She's like, oh, I'll stand over here. He's like, oh, she likes you. Come on over. She's like, no, I'll just stand here.
Well, then she made a comment about she peed herself. Did she
catch
that?
Like, the tiger makes this noise, and she's like, oh, I think I just peed myself. Okay, I'm leaving. Like, oh.
It's time for me to go now.
Gotta go. That was pretty funny.
I started giggling.
Yeah.
If I was in her position, I don't know if I would pee my pants or not. I might. I don't know. I would hope not, but...
Hey, you never know what you would do with a live tiger that close to you.
I know.
So...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm good with animals. I really am. But, generally, I try to avoid things that are big enough to eat me.
Yeah, that sounds like a smart decision. I'm just saying.
So and I'm kind of wondering because Daryl had a really good connection with that tiger, from one of the previous episodes. Did you notice that? No.
Mm-hmm.
They were just kind of sitting there. He wasn't really messing with the tiger, but there was that, connection between the two of them. Morgan commented on it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm kind of wondering if there's going to be, something more between Daryl and the tiger as well.
Right. It could be.
Later on.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I think it would be interesting to see what could be. What they could do with the tiger. Give the tiger more FaceTime somehow.
Yeah. Tiger's pretty awesome. Mostly he just lays around and goes, rawr.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but I really don't want to see him charging into battle either because I don't want the tiger to die.
No. And I feel like they're not going to use the tiger in that way. Like, I don't think that they're going to show the tiger trying to maul someone. Like, even, because The Walking Dead has been pretty violent. But even when the shot happens, when we think that, Richard is going to get shot in the head and he ends up shooting the kid, it cuts away. And that surprises me. I mean, The Walking Dead they are not known for cutaways when it comes to the violence. But they did there. And I'm like, okay, so, I mean... So that's with that said, I just feel like they're not going to use the tiger like that. Yeah. They're not going to go there.
That tiger is going to be a symbol. At some point, he's going to be she actually. It's a she, I believe. Is going to be more of a rallying cry. That fierce. We have a chance kind of thing. And who knows? Even the crazy junkyard people might be impressed by somebody with a tiger.
Yeah. Actually, Jada might actually try to trade the tiger. I want the tiger.
Or try to take the tiger. Oh, I want to see that.
Oh, my goodness. Like, go ahead, silly girl. Get your arm bit off. Go ahead.
Go ahead. A double dog dare you, man.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm really this upcoming episode and to see where we go and what happens because it's getting really... it's not... I mean, there's sad moments and stuff, but it's getting so interesting And I just kind of want to see where this entire matchup, and I'm pretty sure, we're going to see the Lake people again, and they're going to be drawn in, and God only knows, it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I still stand by my idea, and I think we have similarly on this, that the finale is going to be them about to take action. It's not going to be the actual attack. I mean, we're still
Battle.
leading into it. It's going to be like maybe, I don't know, the final thing before they run and start killing people or something. I mean, it's going to be like that last scene right before all hell breaks loose. So I think that's what we're going to see.
That cliffhanger, because they have to do that. And I think that would be the best cliffhanger for, this season is, all the different groups like standing together, and they're all like going, yep, this is it. Let's go get, the man in the bat. The tiger roars and, there's kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
end on a high note, right? Before the killing starts.
Exactly.
So how do you think Carol did this episode? I mean, she was kind of a minor character in this episode. But, again, we kind of knew there would be a catalyst to send her into movement to do to defend her people. But
right.
It seems like ever since she's seen Daryl again, it seems like she's been regretting her decision to leave Alexandria,
Mm-hmm. I do honestly believe that Carol needed some time away. I do. And I think part of it, Carol is a very good chameleon. We all know this, and, she, I'm just like the little Susie homemaker kind of, and, I was just so, I'm so bewildered in the most wonderful way, and kind of thing. She really doesn't let people see her. I think she felt she had lost herself somewhere in there, not just with the killing and not just with everything else, but she had assumed all these various roles, everybody, so you could really look at her, and I think she felt lost in there, and all these, and everyone starting to depend on her, and she's had it rough. She had to kill those two little girls, and there's been a lot of just, her reality has been very harsh, losing her own daughter and everything. She needed a break. She needed a break from people needing her and depending on her. So I can't say, because she was getting very, towards the end there in Alexandria, she was just like, I don't care. She threatened to chain that to a tree, feed them to the zombies.
I know, but you know what? I don't think anything about her has changed in that way, because I could totally see her slitting people's throats and asking questions later. I don't think she's changed at all in that respect. I just think maybe she's gotten a breather,
She just, like I said, I think she needed a break for herself, away from everyone, to decide what was important to her. What was worth killing, what was, her life worth. And I think she needed that break. I don't think we're going to see any major, differences in Carol. I think she just, she needed a little, basically, zombie vacation, Yeah,
I think she was missing her old self for a little while, because when she and Maggie were captured, that part when they were captured by the Saviors a while back, I was kind of like not sure if she was faking or not. I'm like, is this real? Is she faking? I'm like, what's going on? And I really feel like in that moment, like for a short bit of time, she didn't like who she'd become, and she was wanting to be that old Carol again, even though, now she understands it just can't be. There's just no way.
And I think she needed to kind of put that to rest as well.
Yeah.
The what ifs. And I think she was living in a world of a lot of what ifs. What if I had done this? What if I had done that? What if I had done this differently? Because, she has made some very harsh decisions that other people have not approved of.
Right.
Including Rick. Rick, booed maybe twice. And, just because you're older, or what? But now, after Rick's, suicidal rage or homicidal rage, I don't really think he's a leg to stand on when it comes to Carol. She's pretty moderate compared to him.
Oh, I know. He's like, well, maybe all that stuff she did wasn't that bad after all.
Yeah, upon reflection,
right.
We all do what we got to do,
yeah,
right? And so, yeah, I mean, I think she needed that break. I think she needed to ground her.
Lisa, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you totally blanked out there. Okay, I'm glad you're there. What was the last sentence you said?
I said I think that the harshness that she'd been living under was crushing her soul, and I think she needed a break to really reassess her life.
Yeah. Well, I do like that she is also true to her character still. Like, even when she found out about Glenn and, the other people in her group, her Alexandria group that were murdered, she was stoic. Yeah, she had a tear running down her face, but she wasn't boo-hooing. She was like, wow, what the hell just happened, right? So, I mean, I like that. I like that they didn't break her in a way that she's showing as a different kind of character. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, that's just how she is.
And again, I mean, and I think, I think finding out for sure that Glenn, and Abraham were gone, and what happened to Alexandria, and that whole thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of bolstered her resolve. Okay, it's once again time to, pick up, the weapon and go back into the fight. Mm-hmm. And I mean, she's kind of she was trying to, I think in certain ways she was trying to follow Morgan's path of the non-confidence, give all life a chance thing. Mm-hmm. And I think she kind of realized too that was her. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I mean, and I unfortunately, because of where I'm at, I didn't get to see the previews for next week. I don't know if you did or not, so I have no idea what's coming up next or who's going to be on what or anything. So,
yeah,
it's going to be a surprise.
Yeah, I didn't see the preview because I just watched this on demand, so I didn't see the preview for next week yet. But obviously, I think we're going to obviously be with another group. I don't know if we'll be back with our Alexandria home team yet, or if they're going to go to Hilltop. I don't know. Maybe a combination of the two. I wouldn't mind seeing two different groups in one episode. Yeah.
I'm going to say, just because of the way things are working, I think that Ezekiel is going to send a message to Hilltop, and and that's where Daryl's at. Mm-hmm. And hopefully things don't go too south with Daryl being there with the saviors and everything else, because the savior had no issues whatsoever going into Hilltop.
Right.
And so I've been really worried about Daryl since he's walked out that gate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, knowing that there are 4 episodes left, we know a few things. We know that Rick will be back at the junkyard, right? Because they've got to get more guns. We know that they're going to go to Oceanside to get those guns. So we're going to spend time in Oceanside. We're going to go back to the junkyard at some point. And we know that the whole gang from all the teams will be together before the end. So we've got 3 major things going on with 4 episodes left. Mm-hmm. So, and don't forget, still, we've still got Eugene, with the Saviors and doing whatever he's doing. So we've got that thing going, and I don't know if that's going to make any difference whatsoever or not. Mm-hmm. But we might want to keep him in mind too, because he might be doing something we're really unaware of. Right. That's true. That's totally true. So we could spend some time with Eugene again. But I honestly I hope they don't waste a whole episode on him. Not being funny.
I don't think they will.
Yeah, I don't have any hate for Eugene. I just don't want to see another whole episode about him.
I'm kind of wondering, because we've got Morgan going after the Saviors, and then we've got Sasha and, help me out with the other one right now. Sasha and what's her name?
Oh, goodness. It's on the tip of my tongue. Rosita.
I know, same here. Rosita are now making their plans to go and infiltrate. We've got Eugene on the inside, and so I'm kind of wondering if there's going to be, as the bigger groups are all gathering in that last episode, if maybe there might be a, conflict of, those three plus Eugene somewhere within the Saviors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if they can draw the Saviors out, of, their location, maybe the three of them can do enough damage on the inside to basically blow the hell out of their camp.
Right. Well, they have the explosives to do it, so that would be a good way to set things off, like just blow everything up.
Exactly. And they've got Eugene there who knows how to do these things and even make more explosives.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? I mean, it's like I said, I'm pretty sure we're gonna at least for a little bit of an episode get back to Eugene. I don't know in what, where or anything. I'm kind of thinking he might end up in that last episode as everything is going on, and he's going to be standing there going, doing a Eugene thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't surprise me. I wonder if the last episode is longer. I should check that. I didn't check. Do you know if it has a longer runtime?
4.5, but okay. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay. Cool. So things are coming to a close. These last 4 weeks are gonna fly. So
I know. Yeah. I know.
Yep.
So I think Are we finished dissecting this episode?
Oh, I think so. I think we've talked a lot about this really gem of an episode. I thought it was stellar, and I'm anxious to see the next one.
Oh, my. It had some depth. It had some excitement. It had some moments. It had some little quiet, calm moments. I thought it was very...
Awesome. All right. So let's wrap this thing up. Guys, we'll see you on Sunday. So be here, download it, stream, all that good stuff. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you then, right?
All right. We'll see you on Sunday.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's PCS special live episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. First, you can head on over to iTunes and give a positive 5-star review. You can follow both myself and Lisa on Twitter. You can follow the Shelf Addiction Podcast on Spreaker, the only place where you can get broadcast notifications so that you never miss a live episode. Most importantly, you can share the podcast with friends and family that love pop culture. Thank you for listening. Until next time, happy viewing.